The Detroit Lions lost to the San Francisco 49ers 41-33 on Sunday. Dan Campbell made his head coaching debut with the Detroit Lions. And this game was close, but it wasn't close in the way that I imagined it. I thought that this was going to be a hard-fought game, which it was a hard-fought game, but I thought the Detroit Lions were going to, push the 49ers to the edge. I didn't think this game was going to start out so one-sided in favor of San Francisco. I thought that this game would be a tightly contested contest from kickoff to the fourth quarter, but this game ended up being domination by the 49ers for pretty much the first three quarters until the Detroit Lions came alive in the fourth quarter. Now, I was not really surprised at the end result. And I was really surprised that there were a lot of Lions fans, a good amount of Lions fans, who expected to win this game. And the reason for that was because a lot of the Lions fans felt that coming into this game against San Francisco, they had the advantage because they had the new coaching staff and the 49ers were not going to know what to expect. And like I said in my preview and prediction of this game, I said that having a new coaching staff doesn't mean anything. It doesn't add the sense of unpredictability that a lot of Lions fans were thinking that they were going to have, And as a matter of fact, the Detroit Lions didn't really come out here and look like they were all that prepared. They had to make some adjustments, which they made some adjustments in the fourth quarter. And those things kind of worked because they ended up almost coming back and winning this game. But when you look at the Detroit Lions, the defense still hasn't really improved all that much, in my opinion, simply for the fact that they can't stop the run. And the reason for that is because their linebackers are not good. I'm not really surprised that Detroit struggled against the running game of San Francisco the way they did. Their linebackers were not good that game. And as a matter of fact, we all knew that going into the season, that linebacker was probably the biggest area of concern for the Detroit Lions going into this season. Now, when you look at the offensive line, okay, Penny Sewell played pretty well. Jared Goff played like Jared Goff. Jared Goff, like I said, he's not going to win you any games. He's not going to lose you any games. He started the game out really slow. Then he turned things on in the fourth quarter. But overall, I'm not going to say I'm disappointed in Dan Campbell. I was pretty impressed, man, because if you ask me, I think Dan Campbell is already a far better coach than Matt Patricia, because at least Dan Campbell, he got this team to fight. There are a lot of teams in the fourth quarter when they're down big, they just would have went down, they would have put in their backup quarterback, and they just would have gave up. But Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions kept on fighting. They were scrapping all the way to the very end, and that's what I wanted to see out of the Detroit Lions. I wanted to see this team fight. I wanted this team to be competitive, and this team was competitive in this game, even though it happened at, the end of the game pretty much. They weren't competitive for a full 60 minutes, but this is the kind of team that I expected out of Dan Campbell. I expected to see a team that's going to fight, they're going to claw, they're going to scrap, they're going to do everything that they can to try to win the game. And I was really impressed when I saw this team come all the way from behind, because I watched this game for like the first couple of quarters all the way until midway through the third quarter, when I decided to go ahead and watch the Eagles and the Falcons play, because I thought this game was out of reach. And then I'm looking at the bottom line, and then all of a sudden I just see the Detroit Lions scoring points out of nowhere. So, if you're a Lions fan, you shouldn't be too down on yourself. You shouldn't be too disappointed. I know everybody wants to win, but you really have to be encouraged with what you saw out of this Lions team. This team fought. This team did not lay down. They didn't give up. Under Matt Patricia, this team would have gave up. Dan Campbell had these men fighting to the very end. So if you're a Lions fan, you should be really proud of how this team responded in the fourth quarter. Now, this team has a lot of issues. Okay, Jeff Okudah went down. He's out for the season. So there you go. Corners kind of a concern. We already know that Detroit still isn't good against the run. And on top of that, Detroit's game plan in this game kind of wasn't all that great. And that's what I've been telling people, okay? Like, having a first year head coach isn't an advantage. As a matter of fact, it's kind of a disadvantage, because when you look at how the first year head coaches performed during week one, nobody really won any games. Robert Saleh lost. Brandon Staley won his debut. You can't really count Urban Meyer and Culley with Houston, because those were two first year head coaches in the NFL facing off. But like I told people, I said prior to the start of this year, from 2020 to 2019 and 2018, first year head coaches or head coaches with new teams were 2-17-1 over the last 3 years in their week one openers. And we saw that hold true. Like, the first year head coaches didn't really come out on the winning end all that much outside of Brandon Staley with the LA Chargers. So when I look at Dan Campbell moving forward, I'm definitely going to be really excited to see what they do against Green Bay Monday night. I think that's going to be a really intriguing matchup, because you have Green Bay, who just got smacked down by New Orleans, and my guy Jameis Winston. And then you also got to look at the fact that, okay, what adjustments does this team need to make? Because some Lions fans feel like this team is capable of being able to get into the playoffs. Some people like myself believe that this team can win 6-7 games to be competitive. And the majority of people in the NFL world believe that the Detroit Lions are probably going to win 2 or 3 games this year. I already put money down that the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Detroit Lions will win at least 6 games. So I'm still hoping that that happens, because if not, that's pretty much money down the drain. And so far right now, it looks like it's already money down the drain when it comes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're going to touch on them later. But if you're a Lions fan, man, like, this team fought, okay? This team, even though you didn't come out with the win, even though this game was really, really one-sided and it was ugly, I mean, you fought and you clawed and you scrapped, okay? So I definitely feel like the Detroit Lions are a team that's going to continue to get better as we progress throughout the season. I never really expected Detroit to be all that great coming out the gate. There's still a lot of things that need to be figured out. And when it comes to having a new head coach and new coaching staff, like I was telling everybody, it's a disadvantage, because the plays that worked in practice may not work in the game. So then you got to try to figure out the plays that actually work in the game, what some successful tendencies that you can develop during games. Like, it's just a whole entirely different thing when it comes to being a first year head coach in the NFL. You have to adapt and you have to continue to modify what you like to do. That's part of being a good head coach. Good head coaches are able to make adjustments, and Detroit was able to make some adjustments in the fourth quarter that they were able to find a way to claw back into this game. And of course, everybody's going to blame Kyle Shanahan for almost folding and things like that. But I mean, maybe the 49ers just got a little bit too lackadaisical, and that's why Detroit is able to come back. But overall, I like how this team fought under Dan Campbell. I'm still really high on this Lions team winning 6 games this year, and I'm still pretty high on Dan Campbell. Yeah, there are a lot of negatives to take away from this game, but you clawed and you fought your way back into this game, which is miles ahead of what I ever seen this Lions team do under Matt Patricia.